play the role of a mom. A family in America is not easy.
I liggéey full time si science production bi di liggéey full time si suma job bi di liggéey full time si suma kër.
You know, be pare liggéey bi fii léegi-léeg da ngaa liggéey 16 hours. You wake up 4:30 in the morning. Njël ngaa jóg doo dellu si sa kër ba midnight. Just do it, Hama. You know, take action right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. You know, if you have the idea, you have the mindset, just do it. FIMOM is a country of, it's a land of opportunity, they call it. And the other thing is, it's a land of abundance.
The best advice I can give somebody is really to understand what that other culture might be like. Get to know where somebody is from, what they've experienced to get where they are today.
I'm a proud Gambian.
Sayus. Morceau bi nag dan koy may ulay ak Sayus.
Deputation for the Honorable Speaker is Honorable Sirin Jai, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable Ministers, my Lord, spiritual and temporal, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, former Vice President, His Excellency Honorable Hussein Dabo, international partners, representatives of CSOs and victim-led organizations, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. We gathered here today for the launch of the government's white paper on the report of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. This is a major stride in our transitional justice process and comes on the heels of the conclusion of the work of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, hereinafter called the TRRC. The white paper the government will be releasing today broadly sets out government's roadmap for the implementation of the TRRC report. In preparing this white paper, the government of the Gambia opted for a broad-based consultative and inclusive process so as to get the widest views possible, including the views of persons with disabilities and traditionally marginalized groups. The government, through the Ministry of Justice, made a call for position papers from the public on the report of the TRRC on the 6th of April, 2021. Furthermore, the Ministry of Justice, in a bid to enhance the consultative process, created two standing consultative bodies. The MOJ CSO platform, which is a standing consultative forum for the government and civil society organizations to constantly interface on matters relevant to the preparation of the white paper. It is intended that this body will continue to meet periodically throughout the process of implementation of the TRRC report. And the Ministry of Justice Victims Town Hall, which is a consultative forum for the government, victims, and victim-led organizations to discuss issues relevant to the implementation of the TRRC report in a victim-centered approach. On the 9th of May, 2022, the Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with key partners, organized a 3-day national discussion on the TRRC report with the aim of popularizing the findings and recommendations, dispelling misconceptions on the TRRC process and the implementation process, as well as receiving stakeholder views on the findings and recommendations guided by the thematic areas. The participants were split into 5 thematic working groups, and at the end of the 3-day conference, each produced a report containing reactions to the recommendations and proposals for implementation. The Ministry of Justice also implemented other innovative forms of consultation, such as reaching out directly to certain traditionally marginalized groups through its outreach team, as well as one-on-one formal consultations with key victim-led organizations. These informal consultations paved the way for genuine and unfiltered consultation, which not only provided deep insights into the public expectation, but also helped provide context for the implementation. These reports, feedback, as well as the position paper or papers received from members of the public, civil society organizations, victims, educational institutions, and international partners were an important resource in the preparation of this white paper. The white paper, therefore, reflects very wide and diverse views of all stakeholders in this important process. During the Commission's it's quite inadvertent sometimes under these circumstances. Anyway, I'll proceed reading the text. Like I said earlier, the white paper therefore reflects very wide and diverse views of all stakeholders in this very important process. During the Commission's sitting, and in addition to the work on the white paper, the government carried out certain key interim measures. In the area of accountability, the government initiated the criminal proceedings against 9 former NIA top brass for the murder of Solo Sandeng and the torture of some supporters of the United Democratic Party, UDP. Judgment is expected to be delivered in that case in due course. The government also initiated criminal proceedings and secured a guilty verdict against Yankuba Toure for the murder of Usman Koro Sise. In addition, the government, in collaborating with the United States of America, Switzerland, and Germany in the prosecution of perpetrators identified by the TRRC in its inquiry. In the area of reparations, the government, noting the importance of making reparations available for victims, commenced consultations through a victim-led process for the development of a new law that will create an independent body to serve as a successor body to the TRRC's Reparations Committee. These consultations are ongoing, and it is hoped that these laws will be ready for tabling before the National Assembly at its next session. The above are a clear demonstration of government's commitment to the TRRC process. It is important to note that the government has committed a considerable amount of effort into this white paper and believes it constitutes a clear and comprehensive framework for the implementation of the TRRC report, as well as for the attainment of the objectives of the transition process. The government acknowledges the importance of making information on the implementation process widely available in order to ensure broad participation. The government intends to implement a robust communication strategy that will close the information gap, enhance access to information, and ensure the popularization of the TRRC report and the government white paper to the grassroots. I thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
For that statement. Now we're going to the main item in today's event, which is the statement by the Honorable Attorney General, Minister of Justice, as well as the release of the white paper. Honorable Attorney General, you have the floor.
Of the National Assembly, represented by the Deputy Speaker, members of Cabinet who are here present, His Excellency, former Vice President, Honorable Hussein Udawo, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, our international partners who are here present, representatives of the CSOs and victim-led organizations, the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols respectfully observed. Today marks another great milestone in our country's transition justice journey as we release the government's white paper on the report of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. In 2016, His Excellency President Adama Barrow campaigned on the promise to institute a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to inquire into the atrocities and gross human rights violations committed by the government of the former President Yahya Jammeh. In 2017, on the instructions of the President, the Attorney General's Chambers and Ministry of Justice set to work towards implementing this objective. This culminated into the enactment of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commissions Act, which was assented to on the 13th of January 2018. The commission began its public sittings later that year, and on November 25, 2021, submitted its final report to the President. In line with the TRRC Act, the government released the entire report, and we set to work on the white paper through a consultative and inclusive process. Following this consultative process, which the government spokesperson has extensively outlined in his earlier statement, I am glad to say we now have a white paper. The white paper represents government's position on the recommendations of the TRRC, as well as our proposal.
Life nii lañ leen xangee nii ñun ñu ci biir kaso bi yaa ngi gis fu ñu leen dee xam
guddi googu nga yëg lan gis ñu rey sa morom nit ñi nga gis
lii moo ma tax ma nekk activiste
ci coalition bi ñaata nit a jël place may parti bi wax ci la bokka Amad Bass bi muy wax ci la bokka Aziz Touré bi moo wax ci la bokka
ici beneen constitution bu ees loi mayewu ko fenn neexuta wax maanaam amul benn clause bu provide the repeal of the 97 constitution
programme wu xalaat la ko dox la ko ni war a doxee su manqué tam si yow la soo nguur gi ñoo defu li ñu war a def suñ defoon ni war a def docteur yi jànga te génna waroon fee nekk nañ fi toog kon jumtuwaay si lopitaan yi na doy waaye may léeg-léeg naa lu si nekk tam sàcc bi moo bari
civil servant Gambie yëpp dañu liggéey Yaya Jammeh tout Gambie fi teacher boo fi gis police boo fi gis armée boo fi gis ñu liggéey si ministre ñëpp tout dañu liggéey si Yaya Jammeh ñëpp
kon ñi dañ ko cekke woon kii moo woote woon moo state of emergency moom moo defoon mu jàll state of emergency moo waroon a prolong li nga xam ne mooy state wu Yaya Jammeh ci régime boo xam ne dañ la you are ousted
waaw xam nga state of emergency waaw mu ngi si constitution
Sidi Ndiaye ne ma maa ngi fi jël ma use ma mu nekk campaign manager mu ne Jammeh du fi bàyyi amul nii amul ne la Jammeh du fi bàyyi
boo benn itteel am tey li xew si réew mi yëpp mu daanoo si élection député yi lu mu def mun ñu ne waa dafa war a wax ak Gambien si after all réewam ni yaa ngi génn si réew amul fu mu dëkka xale school yi ni ngay toog ay week demun school foo ñi yëpp mënu koo wax